What it do, YouTube? What's up? What's up? It's Luck back again with another deck profile from our own sponsored player, Blake Dauterive. How you doing, Blake?
Doing good.
How you doing this wonderful day?
I'm doing great. Just playing my hero deck.
Obviously, this is what we're here for. All right, let's get right into this.
All right, dope. So I got 26 out of like 300 something people at Houston Regional. Went X2 9 rounds. Only losses were to like stuff I couldn't really control. I just bricked third game round 1. So and then round 4 lost die roll to lab, and I got errated for all my cards. So I even playing out to it. I just didn't see it. So
you hate when that happens. Huh?
I'll start with the elemental heroes. I played 3 Stratos, standard, the 1 brick, the Neospace. Heroes arrived from Neospace, so I played these 6. So 3 Stratos is just like I want to maximize on starters. Liquid Neos is like standard now. The Shadow Mist I cut to 1 after like my after Nats, just because like post Infernal Rage you really don't need her for the follow-up anymore like you used to. You really just use her to grab the mass change and off a wake up, and that's about it. You also really in a lot of matchups, it's okay to like see her in your hand because you pitch her to search a hero, but if you do that, then you can't search the mass change, so you have to choose one or the other. So usually I'd prefer to just grab the mass change and have her stay in my deck. For the elemental heroes, for the vision heroes, I'm playing 3, 2, and 2. So I'm playing this is standard. The 2 versus 1 debate's been going on forever. I tried 1 for a while again, just because I thought it'd be better to fit in more non-engine. But like, truth is, especially in a longer event, you really just don't want to not be able to combo. Like, I'd rather have this slot, and it's nice because I cut the 1 Shadow Mist, that slot just became the increase of the monster count could stay the same. And that's it for the vision. And for the Destiny, standard as always, just the 5. Plasma is really good this format compared to like last. Just this card just destroys Pearly. This card is definitely a lot weaker than it used to be. It doesn't really beat the Rescue Ace deck and the Unchained deck like you would hope. So like some of the newcomers made this card a little bit worse. The Unchained deck can just pop it, and the Rescue Ace deck even worse. They're gonna link it away for Animo or Link Reba, and they're gonna super poly you. So there's not really a whole lot you can do about that one. That's it for the engine monsters. So for the spells, power spells as always, just the 6. You want to draw one of these or both of these every game. That's why you're playing as close to 40 as possible, just because you want to see these specific cards as much as possible. Next is 3 mass change. A lot of people cut down to 2 or 1 because it's searchable, but especially this format, 3 is necessary because I'm so tired of this card. And this card just, as long as you see a hero lives, or you can start with Ferris pitch a hero, or you can start by normal summoning Shadow Mist, anything like that, you can play your entire combo around Droll because they can't pitch the Droll to the graveyard because Dark Law says no to the graveyard. Next, we have the rest of the spells. 2 poly, I will never play less than 2. I just think that I play 3 before 1. Just, it's an extender. If you already have it, helps you play through Droll a little bit. And also, when you go second especially, being able to just start by activating poly is just so much pressure that they have to think about. Poly could easily turn into a blind Ab-Z, and then they lose their entire board. So it's just something that like forces a lot of interaction. Also, the follow-up's a lot worse, but you still kind of want some kind of follow-up because you play 1 Wonder Driver, and so you're going to lose the Wonder Driver with your first turn combo, and that way you don't have any other way to search poly again. So that's why you want to play 2, and then Miracle for combo, and he's searchable, and then the 1 Rhoda for consistency. Last last engine card is Favorite Contact. This is the trap that you search off the Wingman, and it's part of your normal combo now. For non-engine, I play 2 Droll, 1 Call By. Droll, I wanted this slot to be book, I built this list with a friend, with Drew. Shout out to Drew. We built this list together. He told me at 11 o'clock at night he's going to play Droll, then he flaked on it, so that's kind of funny. But I ended up playing it anyway, and it worked out for me, but I had to kind of high roll for it to be good. I don't love this card in the main deck. I think it's too risky. And then the call by because I'm tired of this card. And Shifter.
Fair enough.
Next is Book of Eclipse. So Book of Eclipse specifically in this deck, I find it's just better than Book of Moon. It can get ashed, but because you're playing like less non-engine in the deck, that you want your non-engine to be as impactful as possible. That's why the argument with Droll is pretty good, because although it doesn't work all the time, when it does work, it really fucking works. So that's kind of the thing about Droll, is that like it's extremely impactful, which same thing with Book of Eclipse compared to Book of Moon, where Book of Moon's also a very solid card. I think either one's pretty good, but this one, just how high impact it is. And also, when you go first and you play this card, a lot of people are back on Nib for this format, and this card lets you play through Nib. Whenever you, a lot of combos, you have to go DPE during your main phase, and you can't play through the Nib that way. They'll chain the Nib there on your DPE effect, and you can chain the Book of Eclipse to book your DPE and book your Wake Up, and then resolve your DPE just like normal, because Nib has to tribute face-up monsters. Also, if they try to Nib, whenever you give them the Dark Angel so that they can remove it, you can chain Book of Eclipse to book the Dark Angel, same thing, it doesn't get tributed. And because the monster's on your opponent's side of the field, it gets flipped up. They draw a card, but they can't use spell cards, so it's really not the worst thing ever. And last is 3 Imperm. Texas Regional's full of Rogue, and I didn't want anything to be too specific. I just wanted a bunch of like stuff that just kind of hits everything. And it was good enough for me. So the main deck was 41. For the extra, the 2 Destiny Hero monsters, I'm playing 2 DPE instead of Dangerous. In the last profile I did, I was talking about how like you didn't need Dangerous very much anymore because you're playing 2 Increase, which is true. I don't really miss it very much. But 2 DPE is pretty important. Not everyone's on Kaijus, but some people are, to out the Big Pearly and to out the Arise Heart. And you really need the second DPE, because what they'll do is when you give them the Dark Angel, they'll Kaiju over your DPE so they can try to link it away. What you can do instead is you can favorite contact for the second DPE. You can use the DPE effect to pop itself plus the monster they summon to try to link it away, and then trigger this the other DP's effect. Even though it wasn't properly summoned, you can't bring back this one, but you can bring back the one that you had beforehand. And that's why I think 2 DP is just like kind of necessary in this format, just because there's a very high chance of people playing Kaijus just because of those 2 decks. When Kaijus leave the format, I think you can go back to the Dangerous and the DPE to try to, because Dangerous helps you unbrick hands. For Mass Heroes, just playing the 3 like usual. 2 Dark Law, 1 Blast. A lot of people cut Dark Law down to 1. Kind of like what I said last time. I actually played more Runic decks than Pearly or Cash decks at this event for some reason, just because I guess that's what people had and that's what they wanted to play. And I like setting up double Dark Law against that deck instead of going for an insane board, because that means they have to open both Runic spells to be able to negate one, then pop the other. And not only that, but also this rips 2 cards if they try to draw twice against the Runic deck. Also, those cards really need to go to the graveyard, including like also the engines that they play with the Runic cards also really want to go to the graveyard. And then Blast just helps you dodge stuff on your Stratus. You mass change it away, and then you he also outs the Runic Fountain because it bounces it instead of destroys it. So that's kind of cool. Elemental Heroes, standard. We're playing the 5. Really nothing to. This is all very standard. Just the new guy, Abzi, Sunrise, Flame Wingman, Infernal Rage. This is the new card that came out in Battles of Legend. Lets you do all the combos you were doing before, except now you get that. This is the guy that searches the trap card, and then the Wake Up. And then next for the links, I'm playing same 5. I'm playing 2 Cross Crusader, 1 Infernal Devicer, 1 Wonder Driver, 1 Dread Decimator. All this is very standard. Now what's not standard is my side deck. So the only cards that don't like work with the rest of the side deck is the 2 Droplet. I wanted something, like I said, like Texas Regional's full of Rogue, and this card beats everything that's not Cash Tierra. I like this card against every other deck. I couldn't fit a third one in my side deck. There was too much I wanted to play, but I sided in a couple times, and it was okay. I definitely don't regret not playing it, but I probably would main deck it just because of how high impact it is. And like I said, I'll only play one Cash Tierra player. So the rest of the side deck kind of works together. So the first is a crossout package. I played 3 crossout designator, 1 Ash, 1 Shifter, 1 Nibiru. So the thing with this deck now is that if beforehand, if you full comboed, you didn't always guarantee win, but now the combo, the end board is so strong with the trap included that it's incredibly worth it to just be able to power through everything just to get to your combo, which allows you to just basically just win the game. So I'm playing the crossout. It's mostly for the droll that's in the main deck, but I also included a few other targets that a lot of people will play. So I have the Imperm and the droll in the main deck. Then I also have the Ash, Shifter, and then the Nibiru's, the Shifter for the Shifter decks, just because there's not a lot of cards to interact with this to stop this in the deck. So you kind of have to play it. And I was very scared of Cash. Ash, just like in the right spot, Ash can almost destroy your combo if your hand's kind of weak. And then Nibiru, like I said, that a lot of people are coming back on it. And if you can play the crossout target, you might as well. And then also, like, the other cool thing about this package is that even though, like, these are like 1-0s or whatever, you can still side these in. You might not see them, but, like, it allows you to play this package and still be able to side in a few extra hand traps. And then also for crossout, it kind of weaves into the other part of the package. I also played these in the side deck. You can probably assume what's coming next. But against Lab, one really cool thing is that, like, or just against any deck, when you go second, I'm siding in the crossout, the droll, and the barrier most of the time for when I go second. Because a lot of the decks, what they're doing is they're not actually setting up any negates or anything. The decks are just kind of catalysts for being able to, like, play this card, draw a couple cards, set up a few interaction, and they play this, and then hopefully your turn ends, or they droll you and then they started, so you can't really do a whole lot, and then your turn ends. So being able to cross out this and droll going second, I cross out a droll going second more than I did going first, just because that's just how they had it most of the time whenever they got to start, trying to secure them to win. But being able to cross that out just allowed me to secure the game, because this deck really needs to search. And then, like I said, the Erad, I have this for Lab, because if you can cross out these 2 cards against that matchup, this deck does not have a hard time with that matchup at all, as long as they don't resolve one of these turn-long lingering floodgates that you can't really interact with. So that is the crossout stuff. And then, so I played the Erad and D-Barrier, and then I played a Thrust package as well. So I played the 2 Thrusts, the 1 Storm, the 1 Herald of the Abyss, and the 1 Duster, plus these 2. So this is like the Thrust package that I decided to play. This card was very good for me, even though I don't think I ever set one of these or search one of these. Thrust being able to grab you the Fusion Destiny is really what I did most of the time for it. The idea was that you have, because droll is that popular right now, you have 8 ways to beat the droll. You have 3 cross out for it, you have the 3 mass change, and you have the 2 thrust. So if they droll you, you set one of these, you Eradicator, you summon the Dread Decimator because he's 2500, because it just takes any 3 hero monsters, then you Erad them if they droll you and set off a thrust, or you just barrier them if the matchup's good enough. And going second, one really cool thing that you can do is you always side these in, because you side the cross out for this, and if you're able to break their board but not kill them, for example, like against Pearly actually, if you don't kill them, it's still scary because they add all their quick play spells back after you kill one of the Pearly Xyz monsters. So even if you can't beat them and you didn't have to cross this out, you can actually thrust for barrier going second, and that just secures you the win because you broke their board and they're under barrier on the 3rd turn. And that's pretty much the list that I played.
Okay. So it's like not too much change from it.
No, yeah, not too much. It's just like the side deck completely changed. Other than that, besides like the thrust, I think that this card's insane in the deck. And just the format changed a lot because at Nats, the deck was, I mean, a lot of decks were like playing like power spells and stuff, which my deck was a lot better into that. And now a lot of people are on hand traps instead, which is why I think this card is so good right now, because a lot of people are on the same exact non-engine, and just being able to cross out the right pivotal point just allows you to secure a lot of games that you had no business winning beforehand.
That's fair. There's a lot of non shout outs you like to give right now.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to, of course, my sponsor, Luck&Chuck. Shout out to my lovely girlfriend, Lauren, for coming with me and putting up with me the whole weekend. Shout out to like the other people that came, like everyone from Lafayette. Also, Drew for helping me. We worked on this list and worked on siding patterns and stuff, and we were pretty happy with how it turned out. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right.